Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Let's
Hey,
talk
hey.
about it. It has been a minute. So excited to be here today. Excited
Yes.
to kind of get updates and just check
Mhm.
in. It's been a minute, right, Anita?
It has been quite a minute, okay? We had our event back in March. We were doing all those lives, and telling everybody about what we were doing. And then all of a sudden, there was more.
Cricket. Well, and it's like for right now, for us being not live doing these broadcasts, we have been
Mhm.
doing a lot of work in the background, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
So really excited to be here. And, we just thought we'd pop in. It's lunch hour. It's the middle of the day. It's summertime for some. As I think about this time next week, I'm actually going to be prepping for my kids to go to school next Thursday. So for
Yes.
some people, they're like, what? In July? That's what I'm thinking. But girl, it's kind of bittersweet. I'm ready to go.
I
Um,
know. I
yeah,
know. I used to tell people, when my kids were in school, I was like, I really don't even be wanting them to go back because it'd be so much more to do when they're in school. You know,
yes, yes.
meetings and practices and this and that. And this is like, no, just please let them stay home.
It's
But
true.
then it's
It's
like,
true.
then you got to feed them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the
I mean,
bills go up.
it's so true. It's true.
We
I mean, it's kind
listen.
of like which one do you prefer? Because if they're at home, they're eating you out of house and home, right?
Yeah,
Or
right.
you're running around, you're the entertainment vehicle. Mom, take me here. Such and such wants me to go there. Can I go to this camp? And everything costs money, right? So
Right.
it's like it's either
Woo.
way, pick which one you want because when they get back in school, it's the same thing. I need money, somebody's having a party, or, it's such and such's birthday, or we have something that, everybody has to contribute to in the classroom, right? So it's
Oh
this,
my God. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Science projects. Girl, I can't tell you the amount of time I spent up almost all night doing my science project
Exactly.
because we end up doing it almost for them, right? And it's like, okay, what did we get? Did I get an A? You know, let me put this
It's
on
just
my resume. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
It's a lot, girl. It's a lot. But I
Heck
kind
of
of
a
like
lot.
starting early because at least I'm kind of in a rhythm. When everybody else
Mhm.
starts school, it's like, hey, I feel like I'm getting a head start, so that's just
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it. And I tell the kids the same thing, you got to do what you can to kind of get them ready. But that's a whole other
Yes.
show we could be doing for back to
Okay.
school preparation. Okay.
Hey, that sounds good to me. Wait a minute now. That might be a good one.
Exactly, exactly. But really excited to be here because we're just kind of catching up. We're talking about the life of a TV producer, and it's so funny. Like I said, we are talking about the value of media exposure, brand extension, visibility, and it's like, man, it seems like it's been a minute since we've been here, but just
Right.
that whole dynamic of what's been actually going on while we have been away. So,
Yeah.
we're just going to highlight some topics for you guys today, and we invite you to join the conversation. If you have any questions, put them in the chat because we would love to hear from you. And if you find something of value, hey, Mary, then please share it in the comments. Okay. So, what really prompted this conversation today is the changes that happen just within your industry or your platforms or whatever. So we currently are producers on Zandra TV Network. And Zandra TV Network has just made a major shift where we have changed to another platform. So there's 50 plus producers. Needless to say, that's a lot of content to be moving over to a different
Right.
location when you're still
Yeah.
streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Got One TV, and Connect to Your City, amongst other places.
Exactly.
So we're talking about some of the growing pains around that. What
Mm.
really challenged us, we have to change all of our links. If you have bit.ly links and things of that nature, or even posts where we've had certain links directed to the platform. We have to change all those. So we just wanted to have an honest conversation around
Yeah.
change and how to move forward and navigate through that. Because, for a lot of
Yeah.
people, you can get stuck or frustrated around things really simply that you can't control.
Get control. That's
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I like the point that you said, an honest conversation.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I called you the other day. I know you probably heard a little frustration in my voice. I was like, so I'm not sure what's going on. Can you enlighten me on where my stuff is? How do I find it? What is the timeline? It can be challenging.
Hmm.
But we have to see challenges as opportunities to grow,
Yeah.
right? To dig down deep, and you can do things that you didn't think you could do, right?
Yeah.
One of my personal experiences lately with being a producer, a few months ago, the person that I had been working with that was doing all of my editing for my episodes, uploading, we had trained him how to upload everything, create the descriptions in the drive so that when things got uploaded to the Zonda TV network platform, it would be a smooth transition, a smooth, process. And then, he started non-communicating with me a couple times. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? I got a deadline I'm trying to meet. Where are you? And then come to find out he was finally honest with me and said, I don't have the time to do it anymore. I just can't do this anymore. I have other obligations with my church and different things I'm doing with them. And so I just won't be able to do it. And I understand that, people grow, people change, their goals change, and things of that nature, and that's fine. My thing is, brother, let me know what's up. I mean, don't leave a sister out here hanging out here in the streets. And I'm talking about premiering, and I ain't got nothing to premiere, right? I got all of this stuff, all of these links, and all these different things everywhere that need to be consolidated and
Hmm.
presented as my new season. And here it is. I am still working on it, pulling out of the reservoir of trying to learn how to do some of this stuff myself now, because it's got to get done regardless, right?
Yeah.
So that was a challenge for me. Um, then looking for somebody else to take his place, and it was just, oh my god. And still in that space of looking for someone, because that didn't quite work out like I wanted it to. So yeah, it can be challenging, for the different transitions and change. And then on top of that, now with the transition to the new platform for Zonda TV Network, it's just like, okay, here we go. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
Hmm.
we're still making things work. We're still working together. We are still collaborating, and just making it do what it do, because whatever God says will be, right? And so
Hmm.
we just have to work through those challenges. We have to work through those mindsets that we have. And oh my God, I can't wait to share some more about my book, because the excerpt that I want to read is about challenging my own mindset. Oh, she got a copy. Look at God. Yes, yes. Look, I was just reading some of it just a few minutes ago. I was like, yes, I want to share this part about challenging your own mindset,
Hmm.
being so used to familiarity and get so comfortable in a place in your comfort zone that you don't even want to change. You don't want to change your mindset to something new. But that's what, God is a God of change, even though He's constant in His word. He wants us to grow and move and develop and continue to get deeper and deeper in Him. So that causes change sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and I think also, I'm loving this conversation because as we are growing and changing, there are things that are happening outside of our control.
Yes.
As you mentioned, putting the content up on the site, or, all these things. And, for me, that's why I value building relationships with people, because they can
Mhm.
simply call you or ask you, or there's other ways that we can interact with them until things work out. You know, I know if I have a plan to go out to eat or something with my kids and we get
Yes.
seated and the food is not, is taking forever, we can order some more appetizers or get some more drinks or whatever, right?
Right.
And so I feel like a lot of times, you know, we get stuck where we feel like we can't transition or pivot
Mm.
because, you know, we cannot be so clear on what our vision is. You know, so I think if you know what your vision is, then you just find a way to keep moving regardless of what's going on around you.
Mm. That is so true. That is so true. Look, you talking about stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm over here. You know, this is my first time trying to stream to one of
Mhm.
my one of my pages platform, and it's giving me all kind of messages over here. Well, check this. This is why you can't see your thing on LinkedIn. Well, read this over here. So, girl, behind the scenes, right? That's another thing. You know that a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, being a TV producer, right?
Mhm.
We have things, you know, you get to see the finished, polished product, you know, the end product, but all of that stuff that happened to get there, baby, it takes some work. It takes money, okay? It takes time. Time is so valuable. So it's like you have to be ready to really invest in yourself in something like this. You have to be,
Mhm.
again, that mindset. You have to be in that mindset. You know what? No matter what challenges come, I'm going to do this because this is what God has called me to do at this time. So I'm not going to quit. This ain't the time to quit. This is the time to propel forward and just push through, you know, that opposition. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, and I love this. And so Mary is saying that she's working on her business and she knows her vision, but someone helping is trying to is to allow her to steer in the right direction. And I think that's so important
Mm,
because you know, we have blind spots, right? We
yes.
think that we are going in one way, but
It's
sometimes,
not
you know,
true.
we might be missing a couple of things. So we have Zandra on, and hey Zandra, we are
Hey,
just having an
Sandra.
honest dialogue around things that come out of our control. So we had
Yes.
originally designed to have this show because our micro network content wasn't up to the new platform. So we're like, hey, that's a teachable moment. That's some content, right? And then as we were
Exactly.
finalizing it, the content was up there. So what did we say? Hey, the show goes on anyway. So we talk
It
about
goes on, baby. It goes
right.
on.
But now
That's
we
how
are,
God do.
yeah, we have a lot of things that we're updating on. And so, you know, let's talk about some of the things that have happened in the background, like you mentioned behind the scenes. One of them that comes to mind is the Zonti Awards. So
Oh my
share
God.
with us about the Zonti Awards.
Woo, look, that was like what 2 months ago, and I'm still right on the high. Look, that thing was off the chain. Look, we had folks in the building that were just amazing. You know what I'm saying? We had amazing hosts, we had amazing music, amazing food. Oh God, the vibe was all of that, and God was just true to form, honey. He showed up. People be thinking, you know, as a Christian, you can't have fun. What? Where
Right.
they do that at? We can still enjoy life. We can still enjoy each other and just enjoy the fruitfulness of our labor. And that's
Yes.
what it was all about. Just being able to enjoy those fruits, being able to see all the other producers in person. I got to meet some, you know, you get tired of seeing people on Zoom. You know,
Right.
on these platforms, but be able to put a name to a face. We got folks right here in the same city with us. Got a chance to meet our brother. Oh Lord, I just went blank. What's his name?
Richie. Richie.
Richie, yes. We got to meet Richie. Me and Richie got to hang out. We got a hot girl. We went out the back door. Well, look, we went to sit in the little lounge chairs in the mall. Look, we just back there chilling, you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Talking and
It's
getting
true.
to know each other so
Yeah,
that, you know, hopefully in the future we'll be able to collaborate on some more things, right? So it was
absolutely.
just amazing. And look, one of the most amazing things that happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. This baby here is heavy. I forgot how much it weighs on to tell us again in the chat. This look, I can work out. Look, I ain't gotta go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? I can stay home today. I can stay home today. This is oh my God. So a little something behind me winning the micro network, with best micro network, right?
Amen. Hey, let's
So
talk about it, girl.
let's talk about it. So I'm just gonna have an honest conversation, right?
Yes.
So I had I had a dress that I wanted to wear. I had been saving it since last year's award, right? I mean, since last year's first annual Zonti. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I get to wear it this year. Girl, I put that thing on and couldn't even zip it up. I said, wait a minute, I don't lost weight. What I'm gonna do? I'm like, I got days now, right? I'm like, girl, you should have been pulling this out of the closet. You ain't got nothing. Oh my God. So I went on Amazon. I said, Lachelle, you remember I told you, I said, Lachelle, I think I'm just gonna order the dress and have it mailed to the hotel. He was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I did that. Thought I had picked out an okay dress, right? Dress got there, y'all. It was too big. I was like, now I can make it work if it's too big, but I didn't feel like doing all that, pinning this up here, get a drawstring and do this. I was like, I'm not doing all of that, Jesus. I'm not doing it. We already there. It's tomorrow night, right? So I called some girlfriends. I said, look, they live there local. I said, look, take me to a mall or something. I got to get me a dress. Now, before that, I skipped something. When I was still at home before we went to Texas, the Holy Spirit woke me up one morning and said, you need to make sure you got a dress because you're going to win. I said, what? You sure? Okay. Let me get busy. And that's when all of the stuff started playing out, right? Wow. But I mean, the night of being there, even though, the Holy Spirit had told me that, I was still surprised. I was like, look, I really had made a speech, y'all. I had never made an acceptance speech before. I had printed it out. I'm not lying. I got the guy at the hotel to print it out for me. And when I read it, I was like, this sounds so superficial. This don't even sound real. I'll take it with me. So I took it with me. But when they called our name, I was like, what? I ain't thought about no paper. I was like, Lord, worry about where my shoes at. Put your shoes back on your feet, girl. You got to get up on the stage. Get yourself together, baby. We got to represent. So it was just like, God, you are so faithful. That's another example of him being so true to his word. Yeah. But it was just amazing. So, for me, this just means you got to step up your game now. Yeah, it's true. You got to step up your game, girl. Mm-hmm. So, making these changes with the stuff that go on behind the scenes is even more so important now because even though, we don't get into the worldly stuff, but when there's a standard set, because God sets a standard for us too. Amen. Being his people. So everything that we do represents him anyway. Yeah. So we got to represent him right. We can't be coming half-stepping.
It's true. And, that kind of leads into, us talking about branding, how you show up, because that's another organic thing that we created simply from updating headshots, right? And, digital assets. And so now, we have these shirts on, we got the backdrop, over something that we thought was an event that has now turned into coaching and, events and challenges. So, share a little bit about that, since you really were the initiator brains behind it, talk to us about that.
Girl, okay, I'm gonna do it real quick because it's gonna start raining and my dog is outside. Look, so long story short, I was hosting an event for a book that I wrote, and I didn't have anything to post up, at the event with my name and picture. I got something made. I went back to the place to pick it up, and the lady was like, "So who is this lady on the poster?" I was like, "Girl, what you talking about? That's me." "What you mean, who this lady?" Just because I got gray hair now, I got tired of coloring it, So that just was a reminder to me. I was like, oh my God, I have got to update my assets. I have got to get some new headshots because I've embraced this gray now. And so it's like, don't nobody know who you are when you post up this stuff with all this brown hair, right? So I was like, Lachelle, I have this idea. of having an event. I just want to get some headshots, but I feel like I'm probably not the only one that needs to update. So
Mhm.
what do you think about us hosting an event? And so it just took on a life of its own, and it went from there.
Yeah. And so now we are actually getting ready to have our second class that we're going to be starting. It's a jumpstart class that's going to start in August. And I'll be putting that link up. And so Anita is going to get her dog. But while she's away, I do want to highlight her book, Mindset of Faith. And it is a training manual to renew your mind and walk in God consciousness. And so this is a book that she has launched and has on Amazon. It's a labor of love. She self published this. I mean, it's just amazing. All these things were going on in the background during, when you decide to do something, you just have to have yourself in go mode because you never know what can happen as a result of saying yes to these things, right? I often say yes, and it's like, just when I got into video, it's like, okay, I didn't know I was going to have to worry about lighting, what kind of microphone I have, watching the comments. And I mean, just doing all these things. And as you get into it, you want to make an impact, and it's just so funny how we even just simplified it. We're just like, okay, what are we going to call it? Just get branded, right? And so now we are creating offers and stuff in real time, trying to figure out what we gonna name it. We got to Get Branded Network, right? So that's where maybe you don't want to go through all the work, but you want to connect with the people. You want to be a part of a
Yes.
community. So we got that. I mean, all these things, it's like as we go another week, we have a call and it's like, okay, we have an idea, then we got to create a product with it. So it's been
Right.
amazing. Okay, it's been
It
amazing.
has. It has. It
Mhm.
has. So, working. I don't know if Michelle had a chance to. Yeah, I see her.
Oh, she said
Yes.
she started reading it. Okay.
Oh my God.
Um,
What book is she reading? What book is she reading?
she's reading your book, I'm assuming, right? Is that what she said?
I don't know. You better take a picture, girl. Everything is content, baby. I gotta get pictures of y'all with y'all
Okay,
books. So
wait a minute. They might have been talking about, yeah, no, this is Michelle Clarkson. Yes. She
yeah.
said she started reading it. Yes. So
Oh
let's
wow.
talk about Michelle. Michelle's on the call. Let's talk about
Oh my
Michelle.
God. Oh my God, y'all. Look, this woman here. She not only has she started her brand and got her first client in the first 2 weeks after starting the challenge with us, right? She had her first group encounter with the corporation, speaking and working with women with that corporation, and done been to Paris, baby. She done took her brand
Yes.
to Paris, honey. Look, she going international. I'm sorry. Look, I'm
She is.
living my life through you right now, baby. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
He was in Paris. We was in Paris. Okay.
Right.
I'm just saying. You was
It's
in
true.
not Dubai. What was you at, girl? I keep saying Dubai.
Oh, I was in Aruba.
Aruba, same thing, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned. Same thing, same thing. You was in Aruba, I was in Aruba. Look, I went to West Palm Beach, y'all went to West Palm Beach. We was on the
Exactly.
road, baby. We took it on the road, okay?
It's true. It's true. And I still have posts I need to do. I think I had my Get Branded shirt on because I was thinking that when I was there, I took my shirt with me, right? So I can do some content. But one thing that I would say is, let's talk about collaboration. Because I think a
Okay.
lot of people feel like, oh, well, she's in Paris, she's in Aruba, I'm
Mm.
not there. People don't know how to collaborate. It's
Mm.
this competition thing. So, talk to us about even just having a micro network, right? Because there's a little difference with having a micro network as opposed to being a producer with the actual show that's filmed and recorded and everything in the studio. So talk to us about, what collaboration means to you and
Mm.
what are the benefits of it.
So from the very beginning, this has been a learning experience, right? I didn't know anything about producing content for a TV show. I thought I was doing good being on social media, okay? I thought I was okay with having a YouTube channel, you know, but it's nothing compared to, the work and dedication that it takes to be a TV producer, right? So I started learning stuff right away, along with you, Zandra, of course, Raquel and some of the others that I gleaned from, Cartina, all of you all that had been doing it for a minute, and we were just, helping and working together. And now that I'm in the academy, oh my God, there's so much more to this than meets the eye, right? And like we were saying earlier, you have to be really dedicated. If you're going to do this, you got to make up your mind from the beginning. I'm not going to quit. It doesn't matter the challenges that come. I'm going to do this. So, like I was sharing earlier, that some of the difference between, being, like you said, a producer and filming in the studio all the time versus being a, distributor of content and having to create my own, I'm it. A lot of times I'm the lighting, I'm the cameraman, right? I'm the content creator as far as what the episodes or the shows or whatever the ad, whatever we're doing is going to be about. I'm the interviewee, right? Interviewer, I'm all of those things, right? So being able to do that, there's pros and cons. So one of the pros to me is I get to learn it all. I get to, like you said, know about lighting and what's best. Like I love this natural light that I'm using right now versus, and I have my ring light right in front of me and I forgot all about it, right? To turn it on. But knowing when and how to use different lighting, and things of that nature. Sound, oh my God, I just learned a very expensive experience about sound. Okay, so learning about the kind of equipment to use and what not to use and things of that nature, and then building and developing a team, because you can't do it all by yourself. You can start off like that if you want to, but at some point you're gonna have to collaborate and start a team. So what I love about this is it forces me to collaborate. You've got to collaborate. I'll reach out to you and I'll be like, Michelle, well, this came up. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think, maybe a solution to this could be? Or doing one of my calls with Zandra, I'll be like, well, this came up. Do you think, we can do it out there in our studio in Texas? Or what do you think, would be the best solution to this and things of that nature? So just working with you all, and our team and family at Zandra TV Network has been an amazing experience because we're family. We don't leave each other behind. You know how they say, don't leave anybody behind? We don't leave people behind. If you want to be caught up and you want to do this thing, we're here to support you. We're here to support each other. So we don't leave anybody behind. We're here to work together, to help each other, to do what we need to do to excel and to create an atmosphere where God can just do what he needs to do.
I love that. And I think, it starts with intention because there's a
Yes.
lot of people that, and I think having clarity around what it means to you, because there's a lot of people that talk about, I was one of those people that I thought, okay, yeah, I'm collaborating with people, but it was basically me believing that, hey, it had to be my way, I'm kind of micromanaging, because I have a vision for it to be done a certain
Yeah.
way. But, when you really learn to connect with the right people, it's like you're
Right.
co-creating all the time. And I think the
Yes.
best example is even just this Get Branded experience or movement that really
Mhm.
happened organically just because, we're taking the journey with people and just being who we are and inviting people to join us on the journey, you know.
Love
So
that.
that's
That's
really
amazing.
what stands out for me. So I put the link for people if you do want to consider getting a jump start on your brand. We have a new class that's starting in August, and then I put the link to your book. Um, and we also have a Get Branded network. I'm gonna be looking for these links while we're talking, but my next question is Clubhouse, right? Talk to us about
Mm.
that because we've had several guest speakers that have come. We had somebody last week talking
Oh my
about
God.
voice acting, voiceovers. It was amazing. So talk to us
Yes,
about
yes, yes.
Clubhouse and how that
So
started, right?
I was just about to say, I was going to go back to the beginning of that. So you all already had the house started. You know, you had the Elephant Strategy house already started. So it was doing some amazing things. You all are doing, book reviews. You're doing, all these awesome things already. And so I was like, wow, Lachelle, I think, it was around the time I had the second annual Fund Your Future, I believe, which was 2024. I think, yeah, 2024. So I was like, well, I think I want to do do a space in the on Clubhouse where we can allow people to promote and talk about the things they have coming up. Because so many times, especially on in Facebook groups and different things of that nature, they only allow you to do that on certain days, right? I mean, I have a group too. I do the same thing. So we only allow certain days and certain things to be promoted in these groups and on these platforms. And so I thought, well, you know what? Let's just create a room where people just come promote. Just come promote. Feel comfortable. It's a safe space where you can talk about, get comfortable talking about yourself, doing your elevator pitch, you know, um, expanding your brand to national and international folks. And so that's how that kind of got started, right? And so this year we came up, we was like, well, you know what, we need a strategy to this thing. It's been going good. We've been doing it a year now. I think March, February of this year sometime was a year for the coming soon room on Clubhouse. So it was like, well, let's come up with a strategy. So we decided to let's start offering people, opportunity to speak, so that they can we can have a focused theme for that, for that time, for that hour that we spend on Clubhouse on Wednesdays. And so that has been it's just growing. I think the first time we did it, 2 or 3 people signed up the first on the first day
Yeah.
for the upcoming weeks. So I was like, why we hadn't been doing this already, giving
Right.
this opportunity to folks. So like you said, last week was amazing. You just reminded me, I still got to email him. So we had Xavier. He was on there talking about voiceover. And it wasn't just about voiceover. He was talking about content creating, copy creating. He was talking about different opportunities, and he actually, for us being there and, those that were in the room, he offered a free hour consultation with us, y'all. So look, I'm slacking. Lachelle had already made her appointment. I got to get mine in there, okay? So I can, see some of this amazing stuff that he's doing. It's just amazing. So we've had people. You had Tony Guy come on. You talked about financial literacy. We had Nikki come on. I think she talked about writing, ghost writing, and her tutoring business and all the great things she does. I think we had somebody else coming up. So it's just been awesome. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And I love that because, one of the things, again, that was an organic journey because we found that as we talk about being a TV producer, people are like, they love the aspect of being on TV, but then it's like camera shy. Well, what am I going to talk about? Is it going to really be valuable? And so the more we practice, it helps us to really get clear on what our passion is, how we serve in the world. And so just having that organic space really has helped us to be more intentional with even promoting, right? Because, I was talking to my VA earlier and she was like, okay, so when is this event? And I'm like, today. Right, because when you are doing other things, promoting is like its own entity, right? I think
Yes,
a lot of people don't
yes.
realize the value of marketing, but that really is its own job. And it's like I'm at a point now where I feel like that's something that you really just need somebody just to do that, right? And we should get this when we see major companies and organizations that have a whole department
Right.
dedicated to marketing. Because I read this quote that said, marketing, no, sales will take care of your business for a day, but marketing will take care of your business for generations, right?
Oh my God.
Because, and
Yes.
you think about it, I think about McDonald's, McDonald's is like a household name, and it's a rite of passage for the kids to get to the point where they can have a Happy Meal, right? It's kind of been indoctrinated into our culture. And so that didn't happen by just a couple of commercials, once a month. It is that constant, consistent being in your face all the time with the jingles and the little mascots and all these things, the whole thing about having a Happy Meal, right? All these things. So, it reminds me also that, this is how deep and connected we should be with our brand. It should
Yes.
be where there's room to grow, right? It's not about the colors always. It's not about,
Mhm.
the font that you have, but it's about, what does your brand stand for?
Yeah.
What are the things that you value, and how are you communicating that? When you're not in the room. Because, I want people to feel something when they see a post from me. I can't speak every post, right? But I want them to kind of get an idea or a sense of my character or my
Yes.
beliefs in the things that I do.
That is so true. Look, I am loving all this stuff that Mary is sharing over here. Everybody's putting in the chat. She's talking about what a couple of her experiences when she was doing a promo on the news, and one was her hair was all over the place. It happens, Mary, baby. It happens. And so one of the things I just thought about reading that. See, she said they had to put some clips and shots together to make it, presentable so they could use it, right? So that's what
Mhm.
happens when somebody else is in control of creating your content, right? But in my case, I control it. It's like I don't like how her voice sounded when she did it. We're not even gonna use that part of this video, right? We just because I create my own editing. That's another another pro to what being my own producer, pretty much, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, all of those things be happening, right, Mary? All the things. So when you are in control of your own content, you can do it
Mhm.
what you want to, right? Maybe
Mhm.
people needed to see your hair all over your face, because I love, Michelle knows, I love laughter. I love to make people laugh because that's just a part of my character and my personality. So yeah, show people, okay, this ain't always perfect because we're not.
Right.
We're not always. We're not perfect, right? I can
Yeah.
remember. I can't. I wish you had the picture. I didn't think about us sharing this. Remember the post you did that time when you you used something you thought was lipstick and it was makeup or something, girl.
It was
And
concealer, girl. It was crazy. Okay.
you posted that. I
I
was like,
did.
I don't know if I was brave enough. I don't know if I was brave enough to do
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
still on my thing. I need to, put that out. But I think the whole thing is to be relatable, right? And
that's it.
even like think about some of the commercials that you talk about, right?
Mm,
It's either they're very realistic or they have something that leaves an impression to where
yeah.
you are actually helping them move the ball forward, right? And so I think these are the things that we need to remember. We have to
Mm,
connect with people because
yes.
there's so much content that is given to us on a daily basis from social media, TV, radio, newspaper, stuff in your mailbox. I mean, it's everywhere, right?
It's
We are
everywhere.
in a place where we're overloaded with information. So, how do we stand out, right? I mean, and I even think, I stand out because I'm in my own lane being on TV, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
showing up in other places, but it's like, I don't have that pressure. It's so funny because I'm like, an event today. Okay, well, how much promotion did you do? This is what my VA asking. And I'm like, well, we just really finalized everything on Friday, right? But my
Right.
point is, you have that confidence because you know that you can direct people to where you're at all the time. It's not like I'm not trying to race in this situation with everybody else. I know where I can be found, right? I know where people can,
Yes.
where I show
Yeah.
up. Hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, being real, it's called for. That's how. If you've noticed, what I've been looking at a lot lately. I've been checking out a few people that I've started to follow on some platforms, and I love the authenticity of them. Right,
Mm-hmm.
the funny side, the serious side, the skits they do, their brand. Look, okay, there we go. Internet issues. I don't know if that was my end or your end, girl. Who knows?
It's fine.
This
You're
fella
good,
in
girl.
Atlanta, Georgia. But yeah, so they're just being themselves. Like this
Yeah.
one lady I've started to follow. She talks about menopause and perimenopause and all this
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
So she makes
Mm-hmm.
this list of stuff. These are things we do not care about anymore. I was like, oh my God, I have found my tribe, my people. I thought it was just me. I don't care about none of that no more.
It's
You
true.
know what I'm
It's
saying?
true.
I'm hot all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna look like I'm naked on these videos, but I really do have on some clothes. But I don't really care if you think I don't, because I'm hot. I got this fan right now. I told you I gotta go get my fan, y'all. I'm
It's true.
hot.
It's true.
So being real, people relate to that. And so you find your people, you find people
Mm-hmm.
connect to you. They're like, oh my God, I know exactly what she's talking about. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's how you build a community. That's how you build, a tribe, like I was saying, that can relate to you. That you might express something that they wouldn't dare say, but they're feeling it on the inside, right? They're
Right.
thinking it, they're feeling it, but they're like, girl, go ahead and say it for me, because I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So just being real and people being able to connect with you. And that was kind of one of the things that look, I'm just gonna do a plug now since our time is moving on.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things behind me writing my book, right? um
Mm-hmm.
I first of all, I didn't feel, I was like, Lord, you sure? You sure I got the right one? Did I pick up the line right? Was this called for somebody else? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing this. But as the time went on, the Holy Spirit was just downloading things, and I was like, wow, it was opening my mind up. And so I was learning as I was writing. He was revealing things to me as I was writing. And so the thing that I was sharing earlier, I said I wanted to read a little excerpt from it, because
Yes.
I talk about how we have a belief system. It starts with a belief, and it goes from a belief to, core beliefs. Then these core beliefs then start to form your belief system, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, you got a whole thing around this one thought that you had since you were a child, and nothing else has been able to change that. And it's been making you stagnant, and you can't grow because of this one belief that you've held on to you for your whole life, right? And
Yeah.
so one of the excerpts says, and this is one of the sections I call a transparent moment. And it says, one of the biggest challenges I faced was letting go of old mindsets, especially those that was shaped by fear, past disappointments, and self-doubt. Rewiring my mind meant unlearning what I thought was true and allowing God's truth to reshape my thinking. And then I go into talking about how I was uncomfortable. I resisted change, because it threatened what I was used to. I was
Mm-hmm.
holding on to that thing for dear life, right? And I said, and I had built an entire identity around what I thought was possible for me. But
Mm-hmm.
as I leaned into faith, I discovered that my resistance was only making the process harder. The more I fought, the more I struggled. The more I let go, the easier it became to embrace transformation. And so, God has just really been doing a whole work, and just allowing me to understand what faith is all about. We think it's this
Mm-hmm.
one thing, but here it is. He's showing you a totally different thing about it. So it
Yeah.
has just been opening my mind. I've been transforming. I'm reading my own book. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, you know why I think it's powerful? Because I know when I go back and read the things that I've written,
Mm-hmm.
it was a download. You know what I mean? Because I'm reading it and I'm
Yes.
like, did I write that?
Right. Who wrote that,
That
girl?
is
That's
good.
good.
Okay. I mean, that
Who
is,
wrote this book?
but I know that it was definitely, it wasn't me, right? It was just me allowing. God to use me in that manner, because I just think
Yes.
the things that he comes up with, I mean, hey, he's God. And I really feel that it's like a download. But, and the reason why I say that's so valuable is because that feeling, that, like as you were saying, that whole thing about unlearning, I resonate with that so much with my own journey, right?
Mhm.
But that's the part that's inside of us that nobody sees. So when we
Right.
use that language, this is what attracts people, because this is the
Mhm.
stuff that we put masks around, we build walls up to try to
Yes.
protect that feeling or thought. And it's
Right.
like you just tear down all of those things
Yes.
that prevent you from connecting to yourself and other people when you share vulnerably the truth about some stuff you went through.
Yeah, yeah. In the collaboration where we met each other, the anthology that we were in together, I shared a
Mhm.
little bit about, my journey of a 6 year divorce. People look at me and are like, "What? Where they do that at?" I didn't think they did it anywhere either, but that was that was part of my journey, right? So, having to unlearn some of those things and that
Mhm.
process that I went through, because God couldn't use me. He couldn't take me to the next level he needed to take me to when I was holding on to bitterness, or I was holding on to unforgiveness, and those things that hinder us and keep us from growing, from doing the things that he's called us to do. So yeah, just being able to tap into that place and being vulnerable, right? Opening yourself up. You just never know, because you go through mess to be a blessing to somebody else, right? So that's what it's all about, is being able to utilize our story so that somebody else can build their story and be able to tell theirs, because you were brave enough and you had enough confidence in who you are to be able to share yours so that they can go on to share theirs too. So it's just amazing. I'm just enjoying the ride.
I know that's right. I was talking to my daughter too about this, because Mary's like, wouldn't it be awesome if you did morning meditations? I look at how you start your day, your routine, and I said, love that. What time? Right? Because I feel like, when we get these ideas, see, that's the whole thing. If I wasn't live, if
Mhm.
you weren't live, we wouldn't be getting this interaction, these ideas that are coming organically, because we
Yeah.
would have been doing something else, right? And
Exactly.
I feel like, a lot of times we try to analyze stuff. Well, when should I do that? How should I do that? And then the opportunity goes away, right? Because there's some energy and some emotion around a lot of these ideas. And I think that even when we came together for the Get Branded,
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
an energy around, hey, I'm doing this. You already know you're committed to it, right? And I
Yes.
had that same experience when I just went to Aruba, right? So
Wow.
when we started the Aruba vision with the Clubhouse group,
Mhm.
I mean, it was so far that we got a travel agent. We were just about to put our money down, and life started happening for the other members. Somebody bought a house, somebody started a business. Life was just happening, and we just kind of, nobody said anything. So I
Right.
go home to visit my little cousin who's getting married, and his mom is like, I graduated with my master's in nursing, and I'm gonna do a celebration. And she's like, "Can you come?" And I was like, "Sure." She said, "Well, it's not gonna be here. It's actually gonna be in Aruba." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I am there, right?" And I know she's probably thinking, "What?" But I had already, everything was already in motion, right? We were at the point of putting our deposit down. So after I told her I was going, like a month after that, I had to put my deposit down, right?
Wow.
And so it was like everything, God just had it happen at the time
Yes.
that it was supposed to happen. And I ended up going, everything that I had planned to do with another group happened
Mhm.
with this other group. And I didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? But just
Nothing.
show up.
Sure.
So I feel like people miss out on being able to see themselves grow, of seeing their vision come to pass, because they get too caught up in the details, right? Where
Mm.
it's like, how is this going to happen? Don't focus on the how. Just think about whatever you're capable of doing right now. Are you willing to say yes to that and get
Yeah.
started?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. So what just came to mind is before we got on this live, right? You and I was running around. I was like, girl, let me give me some water. Oh Lord, let me pick up this. Oh, wait a minute, let me go get, I'm over here eating watermelon. Girl, I gotta eat a little something before we get on. And I was like, where's the list? What we supposed to be talking about? Do you remember what we sold up? We talked about it Friday. I don't know. It was like, you know what? We just gonna get it on. We just gonna let it happen. I was like, okay, yeah, let's just do that.
it's
So
true.
we overthink things. So let me speak for myself. I know I'm a person that can overthink something almost to death, okay, till it just completely dies. So we get in our own heads, we create
Mhm.
obstacles, right? When there was none
True.
there in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's
It's
like,
true.
just,
It's
just
true.
let, like they're saying, let go and let God. He's gonna direct you. He's gonna tell you what you need to say when you open your mouth. If you truly, tapped in, he gonna let the words come out that need to come out. So I don't even know if we went by the list we had, but look, it's flowing and it's going and it's doing what it needs to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna share my screen so that we can see this flyer,
Oh,
because you have
okay.
an event coming up, right?
Yes, yes. So, look, I'm gonna have to go to some of my notes here, you all, because I don't want to forget anything. We actually was supposed to have a guest today, and she was going
Mm-hmm.
to talk about the events. And she's the founder of the organization and the organizer of the event next month. And it is here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's here locally. Dr. C, she was going to join us today, but she was under the weather. So we pray for her quick recovery and she feels
Amen.
much better soon. But I'm actually going to be a speaker at her event next month. And I'm just going to read some of this, y'all, because I don't want to get nothing wrong, okay? While you going, you fixing up stuff in the background, I'm gonna go ahead and just read some of this. So, it's the Southwest
Yeah,
Atlanta
I'm trying to.
Women's. Okay, it's the Southwest Atlanta Women's Coalition. Will be hosting the Powers. I'm sorry, the Partners Empower Power Brunch, which is designed with the community in mind, and we are aiming to bond and build with purpose. The Power Brunch is for growth. It says it fosters a better you, a better community, and a better tomorrow. Our goal is to strengthen partnerships, promote clinical engagement, and highlight
Mhm.
efforts addressing community and behavioral health needs. So during this event, you'll be able to relax. There'll be a vibrant atmosphere featuring a mixture of inspiring smooth jazz, delicious healthy eats, refreshing drinks, and more. So engage in meaningful and educational sessions led by expert community advocates and clinicians. Connect and mingle with community residents, faith leaders, veterans, law enforcement, healthcare professionals, and local entrepreneurs. And so people that need CEUs will actually be able to get, I believe it's 3.5 CEUs from the
Mhm.
event. The intensive include empathetic communication. Also, there'll be a workshop on parenting after abuse. There will also be a workshop on truth, talk, and transparency. And the actual one that I'll be doing is mental health and wellness. And I'll be focusing on self care. So we'll be talking about self care, the different types of self care, how you can, implement it into your life if you have not already. And so we also have a call for vendors. If you want to have a table there, the cost for the event is $35, and the actual vendor table itself is $35. So if you're a vendor, you don't have to pay to attend as well. It says vendors
Mhm.
are expected to provide detailed descriptions of their gifts and services. And this is an excellent opportunity for vendors to specialize or present their products, services, collaboration, and to help contribute to the success of the community in our focus. And I talked to her for a little bit this morning, And she told me that we have another guest that's going to be there. There's three of us, 3 or 4 of us, whenever you get a chance to post that up, that's going to be speaking on
Can you
those
not? Can you
topics.
see my screen? Can you
I
see my screen?
cannot. I don't. I still see
Okay.
us.
Okay.
So
So I don't even know what I'm doing.
we'll and if we don't get a chance to do it now, we'll just post it up on the after the live. You know what I'm saying? And we can talk about
Mm-hmm.
it. But we're gonna also have Lieutenant Charles Rambo. I'm like, who's that? My cousin, because I'm kin to the Rambos out in Mississippi. Woo woo. Okay, so Lieutenant Charles Rambo, he is known nationally and internationally for working with police, the police force, with dealing with crime, suicide, and the mental health community. So he's going to be talking on those topics as well. And he works with the Atlanta South Fulton Police Force. So he's going to be sharing some information on things that they're trying to do to collaborate with other organizations like the one that she has, that is doing things in the community for those that are in need of, mental health resources, and those that are on the other side of that and provide resources for that. So I'm excited about being a speaker for that. And of course, we know, or at least you told me, and that's why I know, Lachelle, that this month is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So even though this event is next month, it just kind of leads up to that, event, and awesome things that she's doing with her nonprofit in the community for those that suffer from or that are challenged with, mental health issues, and connecting them with the people that have the resources and the solutions to some of those problems and some of those issues. So I'm excited to be able to collaborate with them and bring these things to our community.
I love
And
that.
I,
So yeah,
and I know
I
you
am.
still working
Yeah,
in the
I'm over here
background.
trying. Yeah, trying to
But
deal with it in the background. So I think I've
okay.
got it. Well, what I did was I added it to our link. So, these are things that, we probably need to be doing ahead of time, y'all. But, this is real life going on. So let me try this
Yes,
one more time
in
to
real
share.
time.
And
Yes.
let's see. It's
And so
telling
what I
me
will do
entire
too
screen.
is I have a link here from the email that she sent me. So we'll share, even if we're not able to do it now. We'll share. Okay, here we
Okay,
go.
can you see
We'll
my
share.
screen?
I see your screen now. I see us. Yep. You're sharing your screen.
Okay, so
And that's our Get
let me
Branded stuff.
find the thing because I added it to this.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So we'll
So
be
I'm
able to,
scrolling down.
right. We'll talk about that stuff too. We definitely need to talk about all this stuff. Um, but yeah, so I'll share. I don't know if I
But let
sent
me
it
see
that
what I did with the
link
flyer.
to you.
There we go. There we
Yes,
go.
there it is.
You see it now?
So
You see the
yes,
flyer?
I see the flyer. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we
Okay.
have the three speakers. I will be one of the speakers at the Empower Power Brunch, and I believe it's, oh Lord, what the date at? I believe it's August 16th. That's what I got in
August
my
the
phone at
16th.
least.
Yeah,
Can you see
August
the
16th
time?
from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay,
11
great.
a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, and that's Eastern
And it's
Standard
at
Time
St.
here.
Paul AME Church. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So if you all are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, or if you know someone that is, and they need to either,
Hmm.
learn more about this, they want to get involved with what we are doing in the community for those, that are challenged with mental health issues, or you want to be a vendor, or you just need to
Hmm.
earn some CEUs. You'll get, I think, like I
Hmm.
said, 3.5 CEUs for attending if
Hmm.
you stay for the whole
Hmm.
time. So yeah, pass the information along. Tell your comrades. Tell all of those. This is for our veterans as well. I'm a veteran. She's a veteran, and so we believe
Hmm.
in supporting. Those that are veterans or still serving as well. So we're excited about the event. We're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being a part of this collaboration. And after we're done, I'm sure we'll share the links. We'll be able to share the link and more information, the
Yeah,
flyer,
because it is an
once we're done.
Eventbrite link. Yeah, it's an
Okay.
Eventbrite link that's on there.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I think that's amazing, and again, that's the power of collaboration because, we're expanding to other audiences, and this is
Yes.
how we make a greater impact in the world, right? I mean, I could have my own audience, but, you know, if I'm hearing the same message over and over again, it's even like the places where we interact, it's good to get around new people because they help
Yes.
you see things from a different vantage point. So I'm
True.
really glad. She's Mary applied for an art group in Atlanta and
I
will
saw
share
that.
with them. Oh, okay. Yeah,
So she
I'll
said
definitely
share the
send you
link
the
with
link
her.
after. Yes, absolutely. And this is another tip that I tell people about networking. If you have people in your network that are in other places, share stuff with them because see, a lot of people think, oh, they're not really a relevant contact because we're not in the same place. But this gives you the opportunity to stay top of mind. Hey, I have a friend who's doing an event in Atlanta. They might be close to you. Wanted to share this information with you. I have done that so many times where I've connected
Yes.
people and I
Yes.
haven't met either one of them in person before. But it's like I had a lady, she is in she's up north. I want to think she's in Jersey or Connecticut. And she was connected with somebody that I connected her with somebody on LinkedIn because they were in the same business together. And they
Yeah.
ended up having weekly calls together, holding each other accountable just because I connected them on LinkedIn. And I haven't
Wow.
met either one of them in person. Right?
See?
So
Yeah.
you just never know what can happen, right?
Exactly, and that's how we met. Actually, like I said, through that
Mhm.
book collaboration, the anthology that we were both in. We had never met, each other. We had never met the other people that we were connected to, but because of that project together, we all have met finally in person. It was just amazing when you can, be in the same room with folks that are, like minded, and you want to and you desire to make a difference in the world. So, it has been amazing. I am very grateful that we connected. I don't know if you're grateful, but I am
I
very
am too.
grateful
Well,
that we
and
have
another story, since we're on is Mary. So I met Mary on LinkedIn,
met.
right?
Okay.
And she, after we met, a little bit after we met, she decided to get off LinkedIn, but we still kept in touch. And she happened to be coming through Atlanta just, like for a change of flight. She was going to be here
Mm,
for a minute and I was
yes.
able to meet her at the airport. So
Oh,
I met her with two of my daughters, and so even this happened. I had another connection who's from Dubai,
wow.
and she stopped in Atlanta. She purposely came here as a layover. And I was able to spend a few hours with her. I took her to Smoothie King. She was like, I want to get a smoothie, right? Because I do
Oh,
these things with Smoothie King. So yeah, we went to Smoothie King. We took her to get a few outfits because she was speaking actually in Florida.
wow.
And
Okay.
so we got a chance to connect and just have girlfriend time for a few hours just because she was having a layover. So that's another thing
Amazing.
to think about when it comes to networking, that you can connect
Hmm.
with people. If you know that they're in a certain area, purposely do your layovers in different places so that you can connect
True.
with them there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I hadn't
Oh,
thought about that. That's amazing.
yeah.
So glad that you could be on today
Well,
too. It's so good to see Raquel too.
yes,
Hello,
Raquel's in
Raquel.
the house too. So, any final thoughts? And Raquel, if you have any links, Raquel, we're gonna give her a shout out. She's another
Yes.
producer on Zandra TV Network. We recently did a collaboration brand extension with Got One TV,
Hmm.
and several of her episodes are trending as being the top viewed episodes on that platform since that collaboration. So feel free to put any links in the chat, Raquel. And one of the things that I want to say to people is that, this is an opportunity for you to network, right? I feel like, I used to feel guilty watching videos and lives, but I feel like, this is no different than us being in person, right? It's all
Right.
what we make it. So when you're with somebody and you're talking about a certain thing, put the link in there, right? put your contact information because, for me, this is like a working meeting, right? If we're all
Right.
in the same place, whatever you may be working on, then give us some help with that or vice versa. I always like to make introductions with people. So if you're
Yes.
live and you're engaging, hey, if somebody comes up or we're talking about a certain topic, then I want to introduce you, because I think this is how we can organically grow our network. So she
It
says,
is.
well, thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate
Yes.
your
So
support.
yes.
Love you too. Um,
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
any final words or thoughts that you want to share, Anita?
Well, this has, like Mary said, this has been a beautiful, beautiful hour. Didn't know we looked at our list. I was like, girl, if we gonna talk about all of this, it's gonna be about an hour. We ain't gonna get all that done in no 30 minutes, baby. That ain't gonna happen. So it has been a beautiful time to be able to come talk about the life of being a TV producer. Talk about the things we have going on, all the things that's been going on in the background. People might not have seen us as much, but look, the wheels are still rolling back here, and we're just thankful that we can collaborate. We have a network of folks that we can depend on and that we can go to when we need support. So I appreciate, Lachelle, everything that you provide. My family with Zondra TV. Congratulations again to Raquel for her win as well. And me and Lachelle's win at the Zonties this year. We're just looking forward to more and more that God has in store for us for 2025 and beyond. And Lachelle, don't forget to share about the event this week.
Yes, so we are having some new content on the network. We have a new show. Anita is going to be the MC of this premiere. It is going to be this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did put the link in the chat. The show is Media Insider, and we have a keynote speaker, Jose. I'm not going to mess up his last name.
Somebody need to help me
But
out too.
anyway, he was a hostage for 5 years. He was interviewed by Anderson Cooper on CNN, so he's been on several major platforms talking about his experience being a hostage for 5 years. He had to go to Venezuela on a business trip. I think he originally lived in Texas, and he was abducted and as a hostage. So if you want to know more about his story, let me know. I'll connect you guys. But he goes all over the world speaking about his situation, what happened, and it's just amazing. So he's going to be our keynote speaker because his topic is talking about the power of media, right? What media can do for you, your brand, and the show is really just a girlfriend talk conversation around the value of media, how we can leverage it, some of the myths and uh, things that we get wrong about it, how we can have a better strategy. So that's really what the show is about. So we're excited for that premiere that's going to be going on this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll put the link in there if you're able to join us. It's virtual. So, you don't have to be on camera. I tell people, look, if you got stuff going on, I'm just happy to see people show up. If you can't be on camera, put your contact information in the chat because it's a great way to network because, some people have their camera on, some don't, but everybody saves the chat and it's a great way for you to show up in front of people. So that's going on this Thursday. Okay.
Great, great, great. And so I don't know if you put in the chat the link for if somebody wanted to be a guest speaker in our clubhouse room on
Yes.
Wednesdays. So like we said, we
I
are
believe I put that
allowing.
in there too. I put so many
Okay.
links.
You over there working, baby. You like
I
the
was
Whisper
working.
highlights,
Okay.
baby.
Yeah.
Over
I
there
put a
filling,
link to
filling
your
it in.
book. Yeah. We got everything covered. Okay.
That is
Um,
amazing. So yes, you all keep that in mind
mhm.
as well. Make sure you show up in the room with us as well on Wednesdays, 12:30 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse. That's the Elephant Strategy Room, and
Hmm.
it's called promoting or coming soon. So Yeah, come in and promote yourself. What's she laughing at now?
She
What
said
she
I
gonna
had
say?
to start a new notes for all the links. So see, I was on my job today. Okay, let's talk about it. I was
I
on my
see
job.
you. Yes, you get that check today, baby. You gonna get that check today. But
Okay,
yes, it
it's
has been
under
amazing.
I'll put it back up there. She says she doesn't have a link for Thursday, but I'll put it back up there again.
Okay, okay,
Um,
awesome,
but
awesome.
this has been wonderful. I mean, I'm really enjoying the conversation again. I just want to encourage people that done is better than perfect. Don't
Yes.
second guess yourself and think, oh, I don't have it the right way and all this stuff. Those things, when that happens, it allows you to lose time and momentum with some of the things that you could be doing because you're feeling like it has to be perfect. And it just gets started because you're actually going to find out the people that need to be connected with you on the journey. I mean, so many people that I wouldn't have picked myself, I end up collaborating with because I'm showing up in the moment doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right.
Right,
And
that's
so
right.
you get connected to different people.
You do. And one of the things I
Mhm.
used to always say is, just do it scared.
Yeah.
I never would have thought I'd be, in front of a camera because I always used to get picked on as a child with my voice and all the things that happened with that, and skinny and looking like this and pointy nose and da 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 da. So I
Mhm.
always wanted to stay in the background. You never could have told me I would be this. So, and be here. But I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it scared. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
do it scared, and I pushed past that, and now look what God has done.
It's amazing.
He has done amazing
I
things.
think because when you learn that your purpose is more important than any situation that you
Mm,
can come up with, right?
come on now.
And
Yeah.
you just kind of have the freedom. It's like, okay, I know my purpose, so I can see, well, is this aligned with it or not? And that just keeps you in flow. I feel like I wasted so much time trying to be the control person, right? I was not getting enough sleep, stressed out, probably got a lot of my gray hair during that time, bags under my eyes, okay, all kind of stuff. But now I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do, what feels good in the moment. And
Yeah.
like, I'm really enjoying that idea that Mary shared about the morning
Mhm.
meditations because, I was talking to my daughter about this yesterday around it's harder to unlearn what you've been entangled in and
Mm.
break away from that rather than not even getting involved with it in the first place. And if we start our day with intention, then we can avoid a lot of foolishness, because we already have our mind made up when
Made
we
up,
get
baby.
started. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
agree.
That's
So I
that's
love
so
that.
good. That's good.
And you end up working so much. It's a different flow. It's different where you are attracted to the things that you're intentional about. You notice them more. It's like,
Yes.
when you get a new
Yes.
car, you seems like every car is like your
Yeah.
car, right?
Everywhere.
You
Everywhere.
hadn't even seen these cars before. But when you have intention, it's like,
No.
oh my gosh, this person is intentional. They've been there the whole time, but you missed it because your focus was in a different direction, you know?
Different direction
So,
altogether.
well,
So
this has
yes,
been
I have really
wonderful.
enjoyed this. I know we're gonna do it some more. We gonna remember we talked about doing this maybe once a month.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Mm.
doing it some more. We did we pick the date? But we'll
Yeah,
definitely make
no.
sure we promote it before. But I
Yeah.
don't know, even sometimes weekly. This might be something to do once a week for people, a break in their week because I tell you, we can get overwhelmed quickly and being on
Yeah.
this hamster wheel of like you said, familiarity
Mhm.
and then it's just the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole
Yeah.
thing about yeah, gratitude. It's true. Graduate to
Yes.
gratitude. Yeah.
I love that. I love
So
that. So did
we
you
could
did
go
wait
on
for
forever.
oh,
Mm.
okay, we can talk.
Yeah, what would you get ready to ask though? Because I don't want to
No, I was
stop
just
no
saying,
flow, girl. I don't want to stop no flow.
oh no, no, no. I was just gonna say, were those your last words? Because
Yes, they're my last words. They're my last words because, I have to put a stop to myself because I could go on and on. That's another thing that I would
Yeah.
say, have a notepad and paper next to you when you're doing lives, because if you don't have your intention on what you're going to talk about, people will make comments and then you'll go into stories. This is my story, right? My
Rabbit
journey.
hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be going into stories, and then it's like, now what did I say I was going to talk about? But right here, I got my handy dandy notes, girl. I got my book. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I
Yeah.
done covered everything on
Yeah.
the list. So,
Yeah. We did. We did. We did that. Yes, we did,
so
ma'am. I
but
appreciate
we
you.
want to thank everybody for watching. Feel free
Yes.
to share this video, or reach out to us if there's some topics that you want us to discuss. This one again was organic conversation around navigating through change, and how you can still show up even with things being outside of your control. And so as a result of doing that, we have another idea, right, for morning meditation. So I'm just
Mm.
saying, you just got to stay in action, because you'll be able to still keep moving, doing what you can, while things that you can't control are working out behind the scenes. So thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll be sure to see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.